Hey everyone, in today's list I will show you guys 10 anime where main character gets laid. Pretty good topic, don't you think? But before we start, be sure to subscribe and turn on notification to stay notified about our latest videos. In 10th place we have Parasite the Maxim. The story is set up in a realistic world where an unknown organism invaded Earth and take over human bodies. Accidentally, one of that organism is trying to enter into someone's body, a body of a sleeping boy named Shinichi Izumi, but the organism could only take over Shinichi's hand only. The incident created a bizarre creature that lives eventually in Shinichi's right hand. Meanwhile, other organisms that successfully took over a human or animal bodies is starting to attack the civilians secretly and eat them. With that fact, Shinichi decided to fight other ruthless parasites with his right hand's help. In 9th place is Rumbling Hearts. In the warmth of a golden sun, timid high school student Haruka Suzumiya confesses to Takayuki Narumi, the boy she admires. Takayuki accepts Haruka's confession and the two become a couple, supported by their mutual friends Mitsuki Hayes and Shinji Tera. All is well for these friends until tragedy strikes. One of them is sent to an unenviable fate, lying dormant in a coma. 3 years later, she awakens, but her sudden reappearance in everyone's lives threatens to test the limits of these friends' bonds. The story is quite simple and yet complicated. In 8th place is The Future Diary. This is a dark anime, and I'm sure most of you have probably watched it. The idea and story was good. But honestly, somehow I didn't like it overall. Maybe it's because of the female protagonist. Anyways, I'd like to hear your opinion in the comments about this anime. In 7th place is Scum's Wish. Now, where do I even start? This is one of those anime that has some messed up relationship. There aren't many anime as uncomfortable as Scum's Wish. It introduces itself as a melancholic tale of unrequited love, and quickly transforms into something far uglier. The characters are relentlessly trampled until, as the title might suggest, they are reduced to human trash. Scum's Wish is misery for misery's sake, existing almost exclusively to make you feel like crap. In 6th place is A Town Where You Live. It takes a look at the complex nature of relationships and human desire by focusing on a childhood romance and the complications and obstacles that the relationship has to endure. What this anime should be applauded for is its look at how fragile our desires can be and the cruelty and selfishness that come as a result of it. Of course, this also means that the characters are often unlikable and frustrating. This isn't an anime where you really like the characters, and if anything at all, it's more of a study on the ups and downs of relationships and the cruelty of love. In 5th place is Ange. First of all, this show is weird. I started watching it for the action and mecha, but later there were so much yuri weirdness that it grossed me out. If you don't know what yuri is, it's girl-to-girl action. But other than that, it is pretty awesome. They showed the cruelty the main character had to suffer, and it was really painful. Overall, I'd say this is a pretty decent show. In fourth place is Sky of Connection. This is another this type of anime. And those who have watched it know how hentai-ish it is. And I watched it when I was 13. Can you believe what was going through my 13-year-old mind? The story of this anime is not much to talk about, but I dislike incest, and that's the reason I didn't like it much. But the main character does gets laid many times. In third place is White Album 2. I hate this anime, not because how bad it is, but because it's so good. This is another sad and depressing anime that somehow touches your heart. The entire story revolves around the three main characters, namely Kitahara, Toma, and Ogisa. These three are so relatable that I'm pretty sure some of us could even picture themselves living and experiencing the different social dilemmas each character is facing. They're as real as it gets. At first they might look common, typical or plain, but later on, as the characters reveal more and more of their personalities and problems, they'll also grow on you. With the intent of being good friends, a simple admiration turned into something more, but the intrusion of another led to a love triangle conflict without even realizing it. The story grows beyond from here, but as much as I would like to tell more, I would rather have you watch it, as it would only spoil all the fun. In second place is Yuno. Takuya Arima is a young student whose father, a historian who has conducted various researches, disappeared recently. During his summer vacation, Takuya receives a peculiar package from his missing father, along with a letter containing information about the existence of various parallel worlds. At first Takuya doesn't take it seriously, but soon he realizes that he possesses a device that allows him to travel to alternate dimensions. This anime is pretty interesting with a unique, but common plot of time traveling. I personally liked the main character the most and how the dialogues were implemented in this anime.
Yuji君もやってきて早々災難ね。
危害はないが、愉快なもんじゃないな。
いきなり接近しようとするからよ。近寄ってわからなかった？あの子の周り。
In first place is the Griseia series. Yuji Kazami is a transfer student who has just been admitted into Mahama Academy. He wants to live an ordinary high school life, but this dream of his may not come true anytime soon, as Mahama Academy is quite the opposite. Consisting of only the principal and 5 other students, all of whom are girls, Yuji becomes acquainted with each of them, discovering more about their personalities as socialization is inevitable. Slowly, he begins to learn about the truth behind the small group of students occupying the academy. They each have their own share of traumatic experiences which are tucked away from the world. The most awesome thing about this anime is the main character, the most savage harem protagonist. Alright guys, that's it for today's list. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also join our Discord server, and if you have free time, check out my merch store website, Twitter and Facebook page. Links are in the description.